If you've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was, then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I wanted to show you some predictive programming about November. Obviously, we know the fake election is in November, the selection, which is how this all works. If anyone actually believes your vote counts, and you believe that there's actually a shadow government, might want to start thinking again about that stuff. But unfortunately, many people do. But I want to show you the predictive programming here because, remember, you have to think of this stuff as, you get hired to work for a newspaper, you get hired to be a journalist, right? You're writing stuff about, the whole point is, hey, I'm going to present an article, I want to talk about this, I want to talk about that. When you see repetition and pattern, you know that it's obviously part of the narrative. And it's part of what a message they want to get out there to through every form of media, because some people might look at Yahoo, some people might look at CNN and actually take that stuff seriously, which is hilarious. But it's all fake news. It's all part of programming the masses. And one of the stories, and I have two to show you, the other one's hilarious about the vax that's coming. But the first is about November. There are tons and tons of articles that keep popping up about chaos in November. Remember, the motto of Freemasonry, this whole thing is built from order out of chaos, right? And obviously, we all are aware that whatever goes down in November with the fake elections, there's going to be massive amounts of chaos. Now, it makes perfect sense for Trump to be the one who's selected again to be president. They obviously picked a guy who clearly many people couldn't even see winning anyway, if it was real, let alone the fact that, it makes it a little bit more believable when they pick Trump, because then, people won't go, oh, maybe there is a new world order and all this stuff behind it. But nonetheless, obviously it's leaning towards Trump, because the most chaos that would occur would be through Trump coming back into office. But look at these articles. Prospect of chaos in November grows. As, we have the C-19 cases rising. Trump is escalating attacks on voting. Trump is saying that he's going to lose now because people are going to be doing mail-in votes. I didn't even know that was still a thing or possible for anybody out there who actually still votes and believes in that stuff. But I mean, we live in an age where everybody has the internet. I mean, there's people who are like, I'm broke, I have nothing, but I have the internet and Wi-Fi on my phone. Okay. So somebody's actually going to the post office and getting a stamp and doing a mail-in vote? I mean, I don't know. Now, I'm not registered to vote. It's a total waste. If you disagree with that, go ahead. I love the people who come out and go, well, the celebrities especially, if you aren't registered to vote, you're not allowed to have an opinion. Screw you. My opinion is to take your voting pencil and stick it where the sun don't shine. And if you vote online, well, stick the socket in water before you plug your computer in, all right? Let's be realistic here about it. But look at the predictive programming, because this is how it works. Predictive programming is them showing you the same narrative over and over and over, so that they make sure whatever channel you're using, and by channel I mean marketing or news information resource they're using, from, like I said, from CNN all the way down, they want to make sure you hear the message. So they're preparing people for some obvious chaos to happen in November. And it makes perfect sense, right? They were talking about phase 2 in November. The NFL says they don't know if they're going to play in November. Baseball thinks there won't be playoffs because of this. Oh, because the C-19 is going to reemerge when the weather changes. Even though it's summer, and if it actually followed the flu, if it was real, it wouldn't even be occurring because the flu, it's all bogus stuff, right? But look at the predictive programming. The rickety, decentralized election system has been a hallmark of American life, and it's facing its most significant test yet under the combined pressure of worsening C-19 pandemic and Trump's determination to undermine faith in the voting system. So they're saying the narrative is that Trump is going to use this as a tool to say, they're manipulating the voting, right? And obviously all the zombies and the sheep out there, I shouldn't use the word sheep because it's biblical. All the zombies out there actually think that this is a republic again. And that's what keeps all of these people thinking that we're free and that not, there is no new world order and stuff. You just keep feeding them this stuff where they think they're empowered and they're in control, and they don't realize they're just being herded and herded and herded like cattle, because that's exactly what they do. So they're saying in November, this year's presidential election could be like anything the country has seen in at least 20 years, when the results of the 2000 election hinged on paper ballots and hanging fruits, or whatever this word is. And if you don't remember the 2000 thing, that was with Bush and Gore, where it was, there was votes of dead bodies. I mean, the fact that people buy into this stuff and they don't realize they're being completely distracted and they're just using this stuff to kind of bury it inside of you that this is real and this is really happening, and your vote's getting screwed over because somebody's rigging the election and all this stuff. I mean, it's a total and utter joke. But the subliminal message behind it, right? The articles are all talking about how C-19 is going to peak then, and how we're going to have this going on, and Trump could be reelected, which would be the worst thing in the world. That's what they all want you to think, right? Even though they're all in on it together. And the subliminal messaging behind it is chaos, because all these articles are using the word chaos, that chaos is going to ensue in November. And if you don't think it is, think again. Because it is going to ensue. Now, this is controlled chaos. This is manipulated chaos. This is organized chaos. This is paid for chaos, right? Just like they do with all these events. They buy and they pay these people to protest and do these things. These foundations like Soros's foundations do it. And then monkey see, monkey do. The cattle, the zombies, the Generation Zs out there, or X, Y, Z, whatever they are. They all follow. They're on board. And then they start copying and they start doing it, right? People are tearing down monuments, and it's like... and no one's going to jail. I mean, it's stuff you just laugh at. You're like, wait a minute. So people are tearing down monuments and not going to jail. But if you pee in public, if you pee on the side of a building, you get a ticket for public urination. I mean, the stuff that they are doing and getting away with just shows you how fake everything is, right? Instead of going, okay, well, people are tearing down monuments, they're getting arrested. Nope. Because it's all part of the show. It's all part of the creating of the new world, right? The new world, just like with Columbus, the new world. Well, the new world is coming. The new America, the new flag, everything. That's why all this talk about change and togetherness is being used as a positive instead of people clinging to the past, because they go, well, if we cling to the past and we cling to the 1950s and 60s and the American flag, we're going to be clinging to a past of hatred and bigotry. Where people weren't supporting the LGBT and people weren't supporting this or that. That's exactly the type of mindset they want people to have, because they want people to embrace this new world. Now, you can see the articles that I'm showing you here, and you can look for yourself. If you type in November chaos, look how many articles have come up in the last 4 weeks about expecting chaos in November with the C-19 and with the election, because it's a perfect firestorm, right? That's why they've been saying that there's fear for the C-19 in November, because it's all going to correlate with one another and correlate with riots and all that stuff, because obviously... and look, I don't know. They could select Biden. It's not real, so it doesn't matter. But obviously, it makes more sense if they reselect Trump for them to create these fake protests and stuff, because people, can say, I can't believe that the people did this, right? And remember, they want to point a finger at you and me and everyone else. They could point a finger at the citizens, because they could say, look, you're the ones who we gave the power to vote, and you let us down. You're the ones who made the mistake. Or they can come out and they can use their fake stories like they've done. Like, ooh, Russia's involved. I mean, just nonsense that everybody gets distracted with, buys into, and then doesn't see who's really in charge, nobody looks at the Federal Reserve, nobody looks at Bagelville, nobody looks at all the stuff the Satanists are getting away with, nobody even looks up stories about how many kids go missing a year. None of it. None of it. And here's the other story that is trending out there, and this is just a joke to show you how bad they need to manipulate people. Who and how to decide who gets the C-19 shot first. So in other words, they're trying to say, well, who's going to get it first? Like, line up, I want it, me, hold my hand up, I want it. Why does he get it before me? Right? This is a total psychological operation to convince zombies that they should line up for this so they can get it first. And they can go back to normalcy. They don't have to live in fear anymore. Even though, like I said, they're going to come out and they're going to tell you that the shot itself is only 75% positive or something along those lines, because that's how they're going to use it to get the rest of us, like me and you, who refuse to get it. They're going to make it mandatory, because people who are getting it are still going to get sick. The stories are going to come out and they're going to say it's because of these a-holes who refuse to get the shot. who are being selfish, and they're the ones, that's the whole narrative, right? If you don't wear the mask, you're making other people sick. You're a danger to others. Care about your elders. Care about your neighbors, right? That's what they'll do with the shot, because if the shot was 100% effective, if they go, hey, we got a shot, it's 100% effective, then they could go, okay, well, it's your choice. If you don't want to get it and you want to die, it's up to you. No, they have to make sure it's not 100% effective so that they can point a finger and say, look, we haven't fully cured it because the people who are refusing to get it are still carriers and making other people sick because it's not 100% guarantee. So they're using manipulation to get people to think, oh, when it comes out, I can't wait to get it. Can I get it first? And they're using, obviously, predictive programming, preparing people for chaotic events to occur in the fall. And I'm not talking like chaos, like, I'm talking like controlled chaos. Because all these things that they do are all made up. They control these events. It's like watching a movie. These are all scripted. They pay people to be there. They pay people to do this. They film it like a movie. And then they use every single media outlet to portray a narrative. And the narratives are all identical, right? Well, you get two narratives. You get your left and your right. But they're all identical. The story overall is identical. And they pin the left and the right versus each other to keep us divided amongst each other. Because if the people were united and realized everything that was going on, then none of this would occur. And it would be us versus them. But unfortunately, they have it so it's us versus each other. And it won't change until people fall out of the paradigm of believing in the left and right. But sadly, everybody wants to have hope in a republic and hope in this country, right? And we always hear these trigger words like republic, right? They use in Star Wars and all these. What do you think that's for? Hope and belief in a republic, right? And I've never even seen Star Wars, and I know that's one of the trigger words in the movie. It's to keep everybody trapped in the mindset of thinking it is one when it's not. It's controlled. It's fully controlled, but it's controlled to keep us opposed to each other as opposed to them, because there's more of us than there are them, and that's the scary part. So November chaos is the repetition we're seeing right now. Keep an eye on that. It's obviously just July, but I'm sure we'll hear more and more about it in the coming weeks, coming months, and obviously leading up to the fake election, which is just going to be nothing but a circus and a comedy act anyway, because it always is. I want to remind everyone, please check out my website at callforanuprising.com. If you haven't, please consider becoming a member. I appreciate everybody who's over there. Thank you guys so much. I'm sorry that my workload hasn't been as heavy as it normally is. I just haven't been feeling great. It's more mentally than physically at this point. I'm just kind of worn down, but I'm doing the best I can. I mean, it's just, the restrictions and all this stuff, and not being able to travel or do certain things and forcing masks, you don't even, I'm not leaving the house. It's just draining. It is. I think it's draining on all of us that we're watching this happen in our lifetime and people aren't fighting back. And I know people go, well, that includes you. Why don't you go out there and do something about it? If I had, if I was able to wake enough people up, maybe we could. But as they continue to shut channels down, demonetize channels, and censor channels' views, the less audience that we can reach and the less people we can help. So that's why the website's important. So check it out if you haven't. I want to thank the Patreons. You're the reason I'm continuing here on YouTube. So thank you so much. Your support is greatly appreciated. Don't think it isn't. And any of you who just thumbs up the videos and comment, I appreciate it as well, including the trolls. Thanks for being here. You guys are the best audience on YouTube. I've said it since day one, and I'll continue to say it. So thank you guys so much. God bless all of you and your families.